This is the With their metaphor.
Briefly almost. No, I was like,
oh no.
What do you mean?
Yeah. There's no way you're going to get
second hand.
These are here since way before. We're here the last time. They knew before the last time.
This panel now, PJ's Patrick's. PJ's not on the promotional material.
Oh my God.
So no pressure. What are your thoughts on Savage? No. Okay.
Can you do a Welsh
Very doing cards goes very well. Yeah.
Let's kick this off. Okay. Okay. As I think everyone knows in this room, in 1977, dated 26th of February, the first issue of 2000 AD was released. 35 years on, and the Galaxy's greatest comic is still going strong, still packed with top-notch thrills by some of the world's greatest comic book artists and writers, and still bringing intense weekly bursts of thrill power to the starving masses.
So, to celebrate this milestone, we've gathered together a massive droids to grill them with questions set by other droids, not us, otherwise it would be a whole smuttier experience, I'm going to say. So some already incredibly old questions.
Okay. As there are so many panel members and so many questions, we're going to rather unceremoniously get cracking with the questions, and the Whipple will now introduce our fantastic panel.
Shall I do it, or do you want to introduce yourselves going down? That might be easier. Mike, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm Mike Carroll. I write some stuff with Thousand now and again. I've lately started doing some just dreads, and I'm cool. Thank you.
That's true,
Just in
Tom.
case.
Well, I'm not. I'm John Burns. I've drawn Dante and Dread, so and a few other things. Of course.
Many other things.
So perhaps I hope you know the artwork.
My name's Rob Williams. I write Low Life, and I write The Grievous Journey of Ichabod Azrael and The Dead Left in His Wake, which is the shortest title. And I've done Dreads and things like that as well.
Gordon Rennie, currently writing Dread and Aquila and Absalom as well.
PJ Holden, I'm drawing Dread and stuff.
I'm David Roach. I draw Judge Dredd at the moment, but I start off drawing Nemesis the Warlock and Judge Anderson.
Mike Collins, I've drawn Slain, Rogue Trooper, Dread, American Gothic, which everyone remembers with pride, just for me, and currently doing the thing for the magazine with Cliff Robinson, which hasn't been announced yet, so I can't say what it is.
I'm Mick McMahon. I've drawn Dread, Slain, Robusters, ABC Warriors, Super Being, and DCs. Might be more if I've forgotten.
Just in time.
Okay. For what?
I'm Patrick Goddard. I draw Savage for 2000 AD and generally Dread as well. And Armitage, yeah. This month's Meg. I've done Armitage.
We just want to start that and say, before we get going, that we're very aware that there's a very important rugby match starting just before the end of the panel. So if there's a mass exodus, could you just be like sort of quiet and be listening well when you
What happens if the panel goes?
Yeah, all the cool people will stay, because you know at the end of a film where there's always a cool bit at the end. That might happen.
Samuel Jackson will walk in.
Sorry. Telling him anything ever again. Okay, well, we're going to start off with a question to everyone. We've got a million questions, by the way, and we know we're not going to get through them all with all 9 of you, but they are, some of them are from us, but then, yeah, the rest are from Droids, and we're going to say who they are so you can be as cheeky as you like. So a few pop quiz questions. What's been your personal highlight of working for the Mighty Thug? And if we start with Mike.
Personally, when he asked me to submit some stuff for Judge Dredd, and I think he hoped I'd say no, But no, the real highlight was, with all due deference to all the fantastically talented people here, when I found out that one of my stories was being drawn by Brian Talbot. That was exciting. And of course, with Brian and his son Alwyn, who was getting his first start, that was. I was blown away by that. I just thought, there's no way my story can be good enough for him. But
Cool.
yeah, so I dragged Brian Talbot down. That's my highlight.
I think Dante, my favourite. I'm drawing Judge Dredd, and I happened to read one of the Dantes, and I thought it might be nice to do that. I wonder if they'll let me if I ask. And they fell over themselves to let me, so I thought, damn it, why didn't I ask earlier? Because I don't like drawing Judge Dredd.
Because Tharg's had many kind of reincarnations, as we kind of know. The first time I ever wrote a 2000 AD, Tharg, who was his minion at the time was an editor called David Bishop, sent me a letter back saying, congratulations, you have sent in the most unoriginal pitch we have ever received in 2000 AD.
He doesn't lose his touch, does he?
No, he said, in fact, because we first printed this Future Shock in 1978, and here it is, and he'd gone and found the strip in question, and put it in the envelope. So that was my first direct contact with Tharg. So that counts as like a Regillian hotshot, I think, definitely. But in terms of highlights, there's been a lot, but I think I enjoy doing Low Life with Disraeli. I think it's the strip I probably enjoy writing most, and it's probably the most rewarding for me.
Mine was sharing a cigarillo with Carlos Esquerra, which at the time Carlos and I still both smoked cigarillos. That was a fanboy highlight. With a cigarillo, Goddard. Thank you very much, Carlos.
I always find that it's more exciting the commissioning stage.
No,
you're going to do this.
It was food tobacco.
Oh yeah.
From Carlos Esquerra.
And so any time you're told, oh, you're going to do it, well, getting Road Trooper with Gordon and getting the first Dread, they were kind of really exciting bits. But then it's those little stupid moments, the convincing me and Gordon doing that Wig story, Intergalactic Wig Monster for 2018, getting 3 issues out of that was a lot of fun. And doing number crunchers in the Meg, a creator-owned series with Simon Spurrier was good fun as well. But every time you do a page of Dread, it's always a highlight anyway. Even if it's a very obscure little story that no one's really going to pay attention to, because it's not written by Bill Michael.
Probably my favourite early story was N-Gram, which is a Judge Anderson serial, because I'd done stuff a couple of years before that, but I wasn't very good. So by the time I did N-Gram, I'd actually learned to draw reasonably well, so I could actually show it to people without being too embarrassed. But in the last couple of years, I've been doing a lot of Judge Dreds, and for me, that's just brilliant. That is what 2000 AD is, Judge Dredd, despite what John might think. I just love to work. Every time I get a chance to do this, that's it for me.
Well, I think 2 highlights for me have been the first Dread story I got to do was John Wagner's and Alan Grant's 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse for One Summer Specials, which when I got the script I just thought this is the stupidest story ever and the best. So I got to do full-page splashes of these bizarre 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse towering over Mega City 1. Because at the end of the story, spoilers, it's Dread's dream. I'd have thought, so basically I can do whatever I like because it doesn't matter. And so I went to town on that. It's the longest I've ever spent on a job. I easily lost a fortune. It took me so long to draw the damn thing.
Was that a summer special?
Yeah.
Giant Chinese or Japanese monsters invade? Oh, that was a really cool story.
I'm going now because that's that's quite old. Second highlight, I think, is a year or 2 back. I lose track of time because that's old now. I got in touch with Tharg and just said, you know, the one thing I've never done is a really long stretch on a mega story on Dread. And he said, oh, okay. And then suddenly these scripts started coming through, and it was tour of duty. And I mean, John has been writing Dread for 35 years, and he's still incredible. and they were some of the best scripts I've ever worked from. I really enjoyed that one of the stories. I would have carried on doing that for as long as they'd asked me. I thought it was fantastic.
Well, I'd agree about that, Wagner. Working with Mills and John Wagner is the highlight of my career, I think. But the real highlight was the first time I saw my work in print, which was Judge Dredd #2, 2018, which I'll never forget, actually. I was in Smith's, bought that in 12 copies. I haven't got them still, I've been worth a fortune. But just Mills and Wagner, really, they're such fantastic writers. And probably I didn't appreciate how good they were at the time, really. Looking at the stuff from some of my old work now, I can see actually where I've sort of missed the point quite a lot, because they're quite subtle writers.
Oh yeah, that's a lot, isn't it?
But Mills and Wagner, definitely.
Probably my first ever commission from David Bishop. And I got so used to sort of having rejection letters, and then I thought, oh, I'll try 2018, and sort of, they weren't doing so much painterly artwork so much after the 90s or towards the end of the 90s, and I sent stuff in and he offered me straight away, and I got a job, and then there's probably Dredd a few months after that, and that was amazing.
So you know what a Bishop acceptance letter looks like? You better tell me about that. We need to know.
It's like a unicorn on the post.
But it was weird when it was Bishop and Diggle. Diggle was doing the 2018 when I got in, and Bishop was doing the Meg. Oh, there was differences there, or tension. But yeah, he was great. Weirdly, he didn't stay long enough.
The next one we're going to ask is, you are stranded on a desert island. Which 2008 book would you take with you, and if you could save one of your own books, which would it be? I don't think I'm going to allow any case files, because I think that's cheating.
Okay.
Yeah. Which 2008 book?
Yeah.
Well, the giant 2008 boat-shaped inflatable book. That was came out around the same time as the poster punt. What's the longest they've got? So is it to read or to eat? Because
It's my dad going right there.
oh, sorry, man. Yeah, what use about it? All the gags. I don't know, the Apocalypse War. I still love that because I love the fact that it's all one artist all the way through, and it gives it a kind of solidity that a lot of the multi-part stories don't, especially Dredd, they don't tend to have, because switch artists, and there's kind of a continuity shift there when that happens. But I really like that. It works very well. I don't think it's been done really since on Dredd. But yeah, that for me, that would be the key thing. And also, I have to really define Dredd as a character. I mean, this guy is not, he ends up shooting himself at one point. Don't worry, he doesn't die. But just to get out of a particular situation, he shoots himself in the chest. I'm thinking, I could do that. You know, he's a cool guy. Yeah.
Cool.
Haven't got a clue.
I think that's fair enough.
Right, I was going to. It's probably Apocalypse War and Blockmania as well. Mixed Blockmania. I reread it actually last year or the year before, and because I remember absolutely loving it when I first read it, but I forget how old I was at the time. And you do kind of think with these strips, and you kind of mythologize them a bit, and you think, well, will they stand up? But it just absolutely, completely did, and you're right. I mean, Apocalypse War is just not only one of the best action comics you could read, but there's so many great character moments, and the pacing of it is just like unrelenting. And it feels peculiarly Dredd as well, which is, so yeah, I'd say that. But one of my own books, I don't know, probably again with Disraeli Low Life, so you know. I think I'm proudest of those.
I don't know. Downstairs out today, I bought the Flesh collection. Like an idiot, probably scam it for free when I think about it. But I have fond memories of it. My companion wasn't so convinced looking through it. It's very 70s, but I'd probably go for that. It's a lot too as well. You know, keep you warm at night.
Any of your own books?
Oh God.
I think I have a huge amount of in for Dredd. It didn't seem to be well regarded, I don't think, but City of the Damned. I love City of the Damned. There's a cracking sequence where Dredd's eyes are being poked out, and there's like a double-page spread where he's crawling across hell, and it's just a great dialogue about him. But you know, he's a judge, and this is what he does. And it's just amazing. It's Ian Gibson, yeah. It's just a fantastic sequence, and it's got everything: zombie, vampire judges, and and all sorts, and a great relationship between him and Anderson, and it's just the two of them sort of through the city of the damned. It's fantastic. So probably that, and I have what? A number cruncher, which is not a 2000 AD book. It's ours. Creator own work, so it's ours. But number cruncher as well. If we ever get it collected, when we get it collected eventually. Because it's awesome. We should buy it when it comes out somewhere, somehow.
Well, since Mick is here, I have to choose Judge Dredd's First Earth, which was the first big serial. It was Mick and Brian Bolland creating just the most crazy stuff each week. And I was 13 when I read it, and comics are better when you're 13 than any other age, I think. And the other one I picked, I wouldn't pick any of my own, but I had to pick Slane's Sky Chariot story, which again is absolutely Mick at his best, brilliant writing from Pat Mills, and those two are classic 2000 AD to me.
See, I was going to pick Slane, but what? I still would actually. No, because when I got to draw Slane, following on from Glenn Favory, I was really torn on the way I was going to approach the artwork, because for me Slane is the original version, and that's what I always look back to, because I just thought there was something you did. This is the Mick show. There was something you did in that book which I just thought was fantastic. The styling had sort of matured to that stage where you'd taken all those European influences and just boiled it down to something really dynamic. The rendering of it was brilliant. I love that. Absolutely love that.
It's probably the best art comics ever seen, I'd say.
Apart from American Gotham now. My own book, well, Tour of Duty, because I'm in a fair bit of that, and I just thought the story was fantastic.
My favourite out of everything in 2000 would be Nemesis the Warlock. It's its relentless satire on religion, and Kevin's wonderful work. It was perfect combination. My own books approaches Slane.
Yeah.
It came out the way I wanted for a while. That's it. Cool.
Probably really Button Man. It's like I always keep referring back to him doing Savage at the moment. I just wish I could draw Savage like Button Man's drawn half the time. I just think it's amazing. So not sure about any of my own stuff. Savage comes out in summer.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sorry.
I'd like to ask that one. Okay.
Don't mind us.
Carry on, sorry. We realise we've got so many questions and we're not going to fit them all in, so we're trying to choose the best ones. Okay. We'll ask one more of our own questions, then we're going to whiz through the droid questions. Okay, everyone. It's fair to say that these days a lot of creepy stuff gets into both the prog and the mag, and compared to the very early days of the prog where censorship could be quite spectacular. Is there anything you've had rejected or severely edited, either script or art-wise, bearing in mind there are kids in the room?
I've had one or two things where the current minion of Tharic has said, no, you can't do that. Only minor stuff, just in terms of language.
Right.
Vocabulary. Dredd doesn't have certain words in his vocabulary. And other than that, no, I've been fairly lucky. But then I've been reading Stephanie so long, I have a fair idea of what is allowed and what could be allowed. I tried to push the boundaries a little bit, but the boundaries pushed back. I'll be looking.
I'm trying to think. The only time anything was said, I had a character lose both his hands, and it was too much blood. That was it. Since then, I've kept the blood to a minimum, and if it's been shown, I've tried to do it as a sort of designy thing rather than realistic.
Right.
I try anyway.
I don't think I've ever been told no about anything sent back in those terms. I was told afterwards there was a fair bit of discussion about. I did a strip called Asylum, which was the first thing I did for 2000 and I had a vicar who, shall we say, pooed himself and had a couple of his fingers chopped off and it was a bit of a striking image. And I was told at the time they talked a bit about that, whether or not it could go out. But I wouldn't.
Sadly, it did.
Sadly, it did. It's not the best thing I did.
I think in Absalom, I've actually been pushing the envelope a little bit, what you can do. It's a certain language, mostly it's self-censorship. There's one joke that involving the sin of Onan that I took out before the script submitted. There's one word, there's a word, 6 letters in the W, it's a K in it, ends in R, that was changed by Tharg. Withered old so-and-so get changed to withered old git. So there's a bit of alliteration there that got lost. But that's about it. I think I have been pushing a little bit what you can imagine, what you can do in terms of dialogue. I made racism as well in it. Racist terms used recently in Absalom, but it was true to the character, so we kept it in.
I did a strip recording, the Dragon's Den strip, which had a sequence where a judge falls down into sort of, he's in the cursed earth and he falls down into what was a shopping centre. And I thought what would be really cool would be, because you know,
George was a Burger King.
Well,
that
that's
worked
what
out really well the first time.
Well, what happened was I said, because I felt that if you use proper logos, it brings Dread's world right into the modern world, because Dread's world it's all fantasy. But if you sort of suddenly land these proper, you know, ridiculous Dread outfits in front of kind of modern signage, even though it's all decrepit and falling apart, it sort of links them on. And I thought that would be a really cool, striking image. And I emailed Matt saying, look, this is what I want to do. And I needed to get sort of go ahead, and he went, no, because look what happened the last time. This is literally what he said. And so I didn't do it, but I kind of tried. I sort of half did it. I covered up some of the letters and sort of moved some of the signage around. But I think it turned what could have been an incredibly striking image, and you know, this one big splash page, it turned what could have been a very sort of striking thing into something that's sort of Richard Hay-ish. You know? And if we'd been able to use kind of McDonald's logos and all that stuff, it would have been just really kind of really distinctive, I think, which is a shame, but you know, it happens.
The only time I've ever been censored was on Judge Anderson, and I had blood on a wall, and I said, there's too much blood on this wall, so I had to white out some of it. But I mean, the most famous censored sequence wasn't to do with anybody on this panel, but it was a story about Michael Jackson, which they had to change to Michael Prince.
Jackson.
Sorry,
Jackson.
Jackson.
Wasn't it? Real
Yeah.
art something, wasn't it?
Gary Lee's, wasn't it?
Yeah, they redrew Michael Jackson with a little moustache, didn't
I know you were going to say they redrew him, made him a white guy with shiny so now
I've not had anything censored. The time I thought I was going to get censored was on Al Ewing's little interlude in the middle of Tour of Duty, where in the magazine we had the lady with a boob for a face. This is really not going to get through, and I found Al up and he went, no, it'd be fine. You know, really, and it's all print, so I was just like, here we go. Anything.
And you're free of child death, wasn't it?
No, that was Alan Grant's darky story for a long time.
I did, but it was very autistic, definitely.
Yeah, me actually talked about that a lot, about what we're going to put into that.
That was incredible. That was incredible.
We had to sort of do it in such a way that you could see how horrible the situation was, but at the same time, not sort of, you know, hostile, you know, glorify the nastiness of it. That was a miserable story after all. Ever. And at the end of it, we're just like, people are either going to hate us for this or they're going to think it's great. And look, it went down well. But me and Cliff put very sad bunnies through that.
There you were. Mick.
Well, the only time anything was censored was, it wasn't my fault. The script called for people to jump off high buildings and people were going to gamble on where they landed. So, I mean, I drew it.
That was in the cursed there.
Yeah, I drew it very well. And, but the management took exception to it, so they had to sort of rejig it. So it was all, I think that took about 7 or 8 panels out. I like gory.
But when your cursed earth stories were collected in the book, they had to miss out a couple of the episodes, didn't they? Because the Burger Wars story, because they were afraid of being sued by McDonald's and Burger King.
No, they'd already been told.
Yeah,
They'd been told.
if it got reprinted, that was it.
They did Jolly Green Giant as well, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
seems like it's one of the forgotten characters of 2000 AD, isn't it?
Bringing back,
Well, did they not reprint the apology strip? There was an apology strip shortly after that.
He gives him
Yeah.
free card.
Yeah, where the Jolly Green Giant turns up and says, I'm a nice guy after all, Dread. Everyone goes, yes, Jolly Green Giant, you're awesome. Yeah, it was not done by
It was Cardiff draw that. Yeah.
Hard to imagine that actually happened. It's a real story.
I got censored on a young Midden Face strip, which Alan Grant wrote, and was the children?
There's one there, at least.
The one mutant had a penis on his nose. And,
That's very subtle. Very subtly done.
Well, he went through the whole strip fine, but the script called for him to wake up.
No,
slightly-
no,
Stop
there.
I just want to censor Patrick Goddard now.
At the point where you don't have to.
Wow, this question on paper, doesn't it?
So that's why I got censored.
Anyway, thanks, Patrick.
That's okay.
Yes, please, thank
So,
you.
Gary Erskine, lovely, lovely, tilted gentleman. Are there any 2000 AD characters you would wish to work on but haven't already?
What was that?
Is there any 2000 AD characters you wish to work on you haven't already?
Sorry, me again, yes. Yeah, there's lots, thank you. Yeah, I'm not saying what they are because I've got. I did have a plan actually at one stage I wanted to revive Mac 1. Not revive the character as it was, but redo the story. But then that's been done already with Graysuit. So yeah. But I have a few ideas, but I'm not saying what they are. These guys will steal them anyway. You know?
No.
That's the best answer of the day. I wouldn't mind having a go at ABC Warriors, but it's not going to happen.
Good luck with that.
So maybe if we could sort of work out some rudimentary way we could kill off Pat. Or would that be good mercenary of me? But no, it's...
You'd have to play Savage then, no, for me.
Good point.
Shackle, the big bastard polar bear that CIA want dead.
Why did the CIA want him dead?
Because he's
swallowed
got a
it.
capsule
Random.
from a satellite in his stomach.
Right.
Pay attention.
You don't know the classics.
That could happen.
That's based on a true story.
It's funny because it's true.
The only polar bear on the CIA's death list. Is
Number one, I think you'll find. Of all the bears. Yogi's 2.
Bipolar bears.
I wouldn't mind a stab at Roadbusters. Part of the thing though is that you always think you want to do these things, and then because when you were 7 you really wanted to do them, and then whenever it comes to now you go to do them and they're different beasts altogether. You're not drawing those things because I got to do Road Trooper and I thought this is awesome. I'm doing Road Trooper, but I kind of wanted to be Dave Gibbons drawing Road Trooper when I was 12. That's really what I wanted. So you've got to be careful with stuff like that. So I mean, really, I'd love to do a long form Dread. I'd love to do something multi-part Dread. It just feels like something, to work a big long Dread out of your system would be great. Yeah, but no, generally, I mean, Roadbusters would be fun to do, but not the whole kind of, but black and white and kind of as proper art should be. I'm not saying anymore.
Well, the first strip I drew was Nemesis the Warlock, which was a pretty good way to start. And then when I was drawing that, I thought, I really want to draw Judge Anderson. And the next strip I drew was Judge Anderson. When I was drawing Judge Anderson, I thought, I really want to draw Judge Dredd. Then I drew Judge Dredd. So I've done it all now. I suppose if there was anything I wanted to draw from the early days, it would probably be Flash. Because I just loved it when Massimo Ballardinelli drew it. Just endlessly rain good dinosaurs. Book 2, yeah, Flash Book 2. If I could draw anything, it'd probably be that. It's giant dinosaurs.
It's not so much you want to draw Flash, you want to draw Flash
I
Book
want
2.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to be Ballardinelli.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I want to be Steve Dillon drawing werewolves and Cry the Werewolf. That's the half the problem sometimes.
Yeah.